Welcome back. Another episode where we're not touring and we're not off-roading. We're on our way to Toyota. So remember a couple of episodes back, we announced that we've got a little bit of a rattle on cold startup for a few seconds. So I put it in an email and sent it off to Toyota. They got back to me pretty quick. They wanted to have a look at the car. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that's touched base about wanting to see our Renos on some of the YouTube videos that we do. Very humbling, guys. Yesterday we got washed out big time. We got the majority of the first level floor in. Done it all myself except for Weston and my wife helping me with that front beam. It was quite heavy. You learn to work on your own when you've done it for so long. Even these 3.6 metre long LVLs. So like I said, we got washed out yesterday. I had to rig up a MacGyver downpipe because my floor's got to come out through here and I'm not ready to take the eave off yet. We still want that rainwater away from the building. So this episode brings us back into Toyota. So out of our 6 brand new Toyotas, I bought 4 from this one dealer, from the same salesperson in fact. So I've got a bit of a relationship with them. I get my parts direct from them. But that doesn't mean anything if they can find a reason to say that it's not their fault. So you look around social media and you see heaps of 1GDs are getting new chains put on them, but the problem isn't the chain. The problem is the lubrication. I watched a video and did a little bit of research, and the squirter on the bottom chain isn't lined up with the chain itself. But there are some mods we can do to potentially fix this. So maybe it's going to be a job for Brian and I to go in there because there is a fix. So today's a day we go in for a visit. I don't believe that they'll actually do much apart from potentially take notes, check my logbooks of course, maybe x-ray the oil. What this meeting is about for me is I want them to acknowledge that the 0W20 and the C5 is probably no good for this car. So I'm hoping that they give me the okay to run a different oil, a thicker oil. I feel that the 0 is the problem with that cold start rattle. So if you remember, we were one of the first to have one of these on the road, and then when it did come time to finding the oil, even the guys that I get my parts from couldn't find the 0W20 in the C5 in Australia at the time. In getting all my bits and pieces for the very first service. Should have been easy, right? So I called my Toyota rep. I asked for oil and filters for my vehicle with the VIN. Now there was a discrepancy in the weight of the oil. So in the workshop manual, it says 5W30, 10W30. I rang him back and I said, look, I don't think that's right. Now he agreed with me, but because the workshop manual and the service data are saying 5W30 and 10W30, we were scratching our heads. The 0W30 is used in the 1GDs, Fortuner, Hilux and Prado. So we dug and we probed. There is now an updated bit of information for the new LC70 to be using a C5 0W20. Now 0 is the protection that you get when it's cold. So when the motor's cold, and the 20 meaning the protection you're getting at running temperature and above. Now in North Queensland, if it was 40 degrees, I'd be wanting to run the 30. Toyota's recommended the C5 grade in the 0W20 for all these new LC70s. A little bit of research into the 1GDs in the Prado. If you have a look here, it's specifying the C5 0W20 as well. So this oil here, they didn't even have a Toyota. They had to order it. They've never bought it before. So I still haven't changed it because I'm still not sure. They might change their minds again. I've got 2,000 Ks now to keep doing the research on it. I believe also that there aren't that many in Australia that have done 10,000 Ks that have gone in for their first service. So if you're taking it in, I think you've got to be careful. And you've got to specify what oil you're going to want. I believe most service mobs are going to put in your 030. That's what it always was when you had the DPF in the older V8s. Even Shell's Fortuna's a 0W30. Full synthetic. So that's my little spiel about the engine oil. So there weren't that many that had hit their first service. So then, is it really the same 1GD that's been in the Hilux for all that time? If it was, then they would know what oil to have put in it. So I don't know what to expect. We've got a couple of big tows coming up. We've got a Cape York trip. I've got other work I need to do. The auto trans service, I've got rear wheel bearings to do. That 24-hour to organise, run, and then edit, and then look at a potential second one. So it's a busy year. The last thing I need is to worry about something I've never done before and pull this vehicle off the road. I wouldn't say I'm feeling nervous, but it does feel like I'm on my way to see the principal. But I've done nothing wrong, so I shouldn't be feeling like that. I believe we're using the vehicle as the vehicle was intended. I mean, it's a Land Cruiser. It's top of the food chain in the four-wheel drive world. So if I can't go and throw it around and pick wheels up and put it in deep water, take it on dirt roads, tow heavy weights, well, I may as well buy something else. So I leave that visit pretty happy. I was treated with the utmost of respect. We talked about the catch can and the pre-filter. He noticed the brake booster, was very concerned about whether or not there were any tunes done to it or anything through the ECU. Toyota doesn't like that. So they need the car next week. They want to keep it overnight to do the cold start in the morning to have a listen. So we'll get the big tow out of the way this weekend. I've got a ute full of rubbish. We'll have to get that to the tip as well. I'm giving the ute on Monday afternoon, and hopefully it does the rattle for them. I did have video footage, but it's hard to hear on the phone. So they'll get one shot at this. They'll put it in the room overnight, then they'll put a few cameras on it and get it started. The service manager there, he knows me. And while I was talking to the two managers and voicing my opinion on the oil viscosity and the weight of the oil, service manager, he said, look, let's just stick to what Toyota have recommended in the 020 C5. So let's get it back there, get them to do the cold start, and then I might just dig up that conversation again with them, because this oil's quite fresh anyway, so I wouldn't be dropping it inside 5,000 Ks. So this weekend's big tow, towing the 3-odd ton. We'll have the EGTs and the auto trans temps for you, compared to when we towed the Jayco on the very same trip up to TJ's, up to Howes Valley, up that putty road. So we'll head home now and use the rest of this beautiful sunny day, try and get that floor down. And as always, thanks for watching.